Hi guys, Stefan here with my wife Amanda again, and in this video we wanted to go over a little bit of what we got at the book sale. We did a few previous videos looking at each day, and now we're going to individually pull them out and show you what we ended up getting instead of just a quick overview. We'll start with, I guess, fantasy books that we got here.
It really wasn't that much this year. It was really disappointing.
Yeah, fantasy and sci-fi were like down to, what, a table basically this year? I think
Yeah,
they're slowly running out.
Yeah, it was pretty sad. This is the first one here. We have some Dragonlance. And more Dragonlance, but
Yeah. That was a big
that's
deal. That was a big deal when that came out, I remember.
But that's it for Dragonlance.
Yeah, only two this year.
Two, which is really weird. And then, what is this one? This one
Wizardry. Yeah, I didn't know that. I forget who published this, but I didn't know that Wizardry, the old DOS era PC like Dungeon Crawl series. I didn't know there were books based on that, so that's pretty cool. I know it expanded in Japan a lot, but didn't know those existed, so that was kind of cool.
And then I found a retelling of Robin Hood with a fantasy twist, although it is fantasy, but
Yes, fantasy twist of a fantasy.
of a fantasy.
And when you found 6 of the 7 Narnia books here, we're only missing volume 7 actually, 1 through 6, and they're a really nice. This is my favorite printing that I've ever seen. This is like a 70s printing, so not a first printing, but an early printing, and I just like the art style on these, the way this printing looks. This is my favorite one, and these are the ones that my mom had, so these are ones that I grew up reading, this printing here, so that was kind of a cool find.
Then we got some other ones. Some of these are from Goodwill as well. There's just some fantasy thrown in because didn't find a whole lot at the book sale. Got some Anne Rice because gotta have Anne Rice. This is part of a trilogy, but I've never heard of it before. Then you have some Warcraft. Cause
Yeah, and Warcraft before they started slapping the World of Warcraft label on everything Warcraft.
Yeah, so it's one of the older ones, which is cool. And just a couple more. And then we found some really cool ones at one of the
Community Aid, yeah, it was a Community Aid store.
These are some big trilogies.
Right, Salvatore. And these are cool because these are, we have 2 trilogies here, the Dark Elf trilogy and the Icewind Dale trilogy, and they were 50 cents a piece, I think it was?
Yep, 50 cents.
50 cents a piece? So
no, these were 25 cents a
or
piece.
25 cents a piece, yeah. So for 50 cents total, we got 6 R.A. Salvatore books.
Yeah, which is
so
awesome.
Really cool.
Because I think we have these
individually, I think we do. Yeah,
but
individually we do.
they're really cool printing, so
yeah,
have to have them for 25 cents.
And we didn't make out much better in sci-fi, actually. We did worse. I mean, normally, the one thing that's really cool in years past, there used to be so many Star Trek books, particularly the original series and Next Generation, like some Deep Space Nine, Voyager, whatever, but there'd be boxes under the tables, under the other books, full of Star Trek books, and I'd actually have to try and remember what ones have I just read in the past and recognized, or what ones we actually have, and like
That's
make a
big
list and
problem
like
for us.
yeah, like that particular. There's a couple things like that and like Dragonlance and stuff. But this year, instead of full boxes, I think I found 4 total Star Trek books, and a couple of them we had, so we only ended up getting 1 from the actual book sale, Death Count, one of the original series books. That was the only Star Trek book I picked up this year, and years past I would pick up like stacks.
And
so
you wouldn't get a bunch,
yeah,
too.
Yeah, that was disappointing. But we did find one more, one of the 40th anniversary ones, Crucible Spock. I found that at Goodwill later in the day, but yeah, only 2 Star Trek books this year. It's very unusual.
Very depressing.
And only 2 other sci-fi books, really.
But this is a cool
This one's cool. Robotech. There's a whole series of books. I had the entire original run they did, the original series, and this is a later one that they did. I don't have any of these. That's really cool in this second series. And another one by Elizabeth Moon, Hunting Party. And Elizabeth Moon I'd actually just discovered last year at the book sale. I found a whole stack of stuff by Elizabeth Moon last year that looked cool. So I started reading them. I ended up liking a lot of them, so now I pick up pretty much any Elizabeth Moon stuff that I see at these sales. So that was a pretty cool one. That was really it for sci-fi and fantasy this year.
Yeah.
Not a lot. That was kind of small. We got some kids stuff here.
But again, it was not a huge selection of kids stuff. We usually can find a lot of Goosebump books, the original ones.
I think the library sales are starting to kind of finally run out of inventory because every year it seems like more and more people know about the sales and start going.
It was much more crowded than it was.
And I don't think they're getting as much inventory into the library now. Like I don't think people are donating as many books as they used to around here. So I think it's slowly dwindling down over the years. But
yeah, and I think there's also more like resellers that are coming. We saw one lady with this huge mountain of boxes, and she was literally taking them out of the boxes and just shoving books
individually
in her
into
trunk.
the corners of her trunk, trying to fill it, and it was just all like Harlequin romance.
It was
like,
all the white
completely
Harlequin
full,
romance books, and it was
so there's
really
a lot more
funny.
of that. So it's definitely, I feel like by the time we like move out of the Pennsylvania area
There's
in a
gonna
few
be
years, I
nothing
think by the
left
time then it'll be dead. But as far as like more kid stuff or kid appropriate things, the Tale of Genji, my wife actually stumbled upon this, and this I'm really happy to have. A really nice early, I think 11th century story.
Yeah.
I think it's 11th century, but
I was kind of disappointed because
Cool
I
one.
thought it said Tales of the Janai, and I thought it was an Atlantis
like
book,
a straight
but
Atlantis, yeah.
it was not.
It was cool for me, and we found some
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
We
so
found
always
some
find
Goosebumps. We have like 5 copies of this one, but
Yeah, I
it's
don't know
in,
why we pictured it.
but
on
it's
that
in
one.
like perfect
Yeah,
shape. So, and it's really hard to find Goosebumps books in perfect shape.
Yeah.
And here's another one, and this one is from Borders. So we still are getting a little bit
Yeah.
left over from Borders. And this one we don't have at all either, so that was nice because we're getting to the end of our Goosebumps collection.
Yeah,
We're
we have almost all of them. The only ones we're
almost
missing
a
is
full set.
the Night of the Living Dummy. I think there's, 3 of them?
Yes,
Those ones,
those
for
are
some
very
reason, are
hard.
impossible to find, and they go for a ton of money on eBay, like more than any other Goosebumps books.
Yeah.
So I don't know why the Night of the Living Dummy ones, they were just low print runs or really popular, but those ones, for some reason, you just cannot find anywhere.
Yeah, I think we have
But
one of them.
I think we
But-
maybe have one of them. We found that. We found a Guinness Book of World Records 2013, but it's a gamer's edition. So it's all kinds of video game themed Guinness Book of World Records stuff and lots of like cool pictures and things. So it's actually pretty interesting. I started reading a bit of it. Pretty like interesting look. It's just for like gaming for Guinness World Records.
But it was very weird when I was putting that in our archive that we do. It said it was from 2012, which I thought was weird. So I don't know if I have the right...
maybe they print it 2012 for the 2013.
13,
Yeah,
but
that's possible.
Very strange.
We did get a couple books. Every once in a while, they do have a foreign language section, and it's usually mostly Spanish and German. But sometimes we find stuff that's in like Chinese or Korean or Japanese, and we found a couple. And this one is this is Paradise Lost. Yeah, it's Paradise Lost, the first half of it, Volume 1. So that was a pretty interesting find. It's in like perfect condition.
Yeah, they still have the little paper things that
it's like
every Japanese thing
beautiful
ever
condition.
has.
Yeah, and I
around
found
it.
there's a whole series of these. There are a bunch of ones with different. There are different like mythology stories, and some that were like kids stories and things. There's a whole series of these purple ones, and I just picked the one that seemed most interesting to me because there's a whole bunch of them. They're hardback, but eventually, you do find like some like Japanese stuff, especially mostly kids stories though. But I do find some there at the sale. We did find 2 Buffy comics.
I was super excited
we
because
found those.
one of them the lady didn't see the price, so we got it for 50 cents.
Yeah, that was nice.
Super
Yeah,
exciting.
the one was 50 cents. Yeah, she was confused as heck with some of the stuff because we got a lot of manga this year, and she could not.
It's
She's
not
like
just her. Every single time.
yeah,
we go
every
up
time
to-
because all the volunteers are like 60 plus, and they just cannot comprehend the reading like the opposite direction. Like they're flipping it upside down. And they're like, oh, what is this weird moon book? And like they cannot figure it out. It's so confusing. But the last thing we got as far as regular books, we didn't get a lot this year. We got some biographies, which is not something we normally pick up. There normally aren't a lot there that interest us as far as specific individuals we want to learn more about. But I did get Lauren Bacall by myself, so that's one I'm going to really enjoy reading. Amanda doesn't really care, but
No.
but I'm going to read that.
And I got Nicholas and Alexandria, which is pretty cool because I love the Romanovs. They're really interesting.
Yeah, it's one for you, not me too much.
Yeah.
I got one on Jane Fonda, which seems pretty interesting. I like reading that. It's an older one too, which is nice.
And of course Alan Alda, because you can't go wrong with Alan Alda.
Yes.
He's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
one of the favorite actors of both of us there. And we found a couple non-book related things as we were going through. A couple VHS, which every once in a while we'll pick up for like nostalgic reasons, really. Anything something special,
It's getting kind of out of control.
It's getting to the point, yeah, where there aren't too many more that we're going to get. But this horrendous disaster, the first Dungeons and Dragons movie, I saw this thing in theaters with my friend Matt, and oh my gosh, it was disappointing. I mean, first of all, you can't even really make a Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Doesn't make sense.
Dungeons and Dragons, it's just like a rule set. Like, there are different worlds that you can, or like stories and things within the rule set of Dungeons and Dragons, or you make your own or whatever, but it's not like an actual thing. It's just a set of rules, really, and like monsters and things. And so it seems like a bunch of 13-year-old boys wrote down a Dungeons and Dragons campaign and played it out, and then just kind of like filmed it. Like, it's awful. They're absolutely terrible. We did get The Wizard of Oz. This is the 50th anniversary VHS, and I got this just because of the cool edition in the front here. There's actually a little a booklet with lots of information on The Wizard of Oz and its 50th
Weird, 'cause
anniversary.
it's attached, though.
Yeah, it's like an attached booklet to the cover. So like I thought that was kind of an interesting one to pick up, and we got one you were super excited for.
Yeah, this is my favorite Muppets movie ever. This is Muppet Treasure Island. It is the best Muppets movie ever, by far. So you have Tim Curry.
Yeah, I gotta love Tim Curry.
Can't beat Tim Curry.
So, and then, but the major thing this year, as same as last year, really, we found tons of manga, which is just weird. But most of the manga, most of it was like 25 to 50 cents, and a couple were like $1 or whatever. But it was just ridiculously cheap for manga. But anyway, we'll move on to showing off all the manga we got this year. Well,
He's moving that while Stefan's moving all that over. They have a pile of boxes, especially the first day. And so we went and grabbed a box each because we were gonna fill them up. And so I got a very normal brown box. And this is the box Stefan picked up, and he's very excited about this box. This box is falling apart, but it's one of those like old, probably from, what do you think, like the 70s, 80s?
It's like an old professor's box.
It's an old professor's box, and so he's gonna keep this forever and ever because he loves it so much.
No, I'm
He's an
not.
old man.
No, I'm not. It's just a box.
It's not just a
Yeah.
box.
I forgot one thing. We did pick up Beverly Hills Cop 2. They had hundreds of records, but most of them were, you could see why they were getting rid of them. Like, it was just kind of, nobody wanted them. But I look for mostly soundtracks. I have a bunch of movie soundtracks on my LP. That's pretty much, I don't know, that's one of the only things I get for records, but found Beverly Hills Cop 2. Moving on to manga, you want to start off with some of these here?
Okay, this is the inappropriate one, I think. I think this one's one of the
What,
inappropriate.
the one where you thought, yeah.
Yeah, this one's very inappropriate, but this is, what is this? Banner of Stars. So you have that one. That's not too bad. That one doesn't look too bad either. I don't know if you can see this. This is some weird drawing right there.
She's very upset by the camel toe for some reason. I don't know.
It's just, it's very, like, I don't care if it has the boobs, but, like, really, just...
It does look
Don't.
funny. It does look like she has more, like, she has like a stack there
Yeah,
instead of
there's,
like...
there's something there.
I found 2 volumes of Chronicles of the Cursed Sword. Found 2 volumes of that. And this year we did find a lot more of like consecutive volumes of things. A lot of times it's like volume 6 of one thing and 4 of another and
Yeah.
random stuff. But we found a little more consecutive stuff this year. So
This is one Stefan likes. I don't really know why, because it's
I like
a
it.
racing one. It's Initial D.
yeah, that's one of my favorites. Love that. I love that arcade game. If you ever played like the arcade games for Initial D, those are great. Played that. We got 2 volumes of Kazan, 3 and 4. So we're slowly actually picking up this series.
And then we have one of these already, and actually there's another one somewhere.
Yeah, there's another one somewhere,
I think
I
we have 5 volumes
Yeah.
of this that we got, but it's Monster, and this looks very adult. Not really sure. I've never heard of this before, but
Looks
I
like a
think
good
you
one.
read the.
Yeah, I read one of them.
We have a later volume of
Yeah.
it somewhere, but
We got a couple volumes of Elf Quest, which is honestly not very good. I read a couple volumes of it before. It's really not that great. But it's kind of interesting as a very like North American
Well, I think it's written
D&D,
by-
yeah, like D&D like kind of rip-off thing, but yeah.
this is Land of the Blindfold. We have 2 volumes of that.
Got some Inuyasha. We always see a lot of them for some reason. I don't
These
know
are
why.
in
They always stand out.
perfect
That
shape,
like yellow border there really stands out all
But
the time.
those are in really good shape, which is weird because usually those are really beat up and
Yeah.
destroyed.
Oh, here's the other monster.
there we
I
go.
found that over there.
And Kamikaze, which I've never heard of. I like the art though. This is really pretty.
Fruits Basket. This is another common one. I feel like every library had like at least some of this series for some reason. I mean, it was really popular when it came out in North America, but Fruits Basket, I have a volume of that.
And this is Snow, which looks like a Stefan book. And all of these are from, well, most of these, I think the majority
Yeah.
of them are actually from libraries. You can see the barcode there, and they're withdrawn, so that's kind of cool.
A couple of volumes. 2 volumes? Yeah, I have Kakashi. A couple of volumes of that.
This is my favorite find for the manga. It's Star Trek The Next Generation, which I didn't know they made into a manga series.
Yeah, I'd seen the comics before, but I'd never seen the
Yeah.
manga before. I never
So
saw
this
that.
is
So
really
it's a
cool. It
interesting
looks-
style.
It's very weird, the style of art,
Yeah.
but it's really cool because it's Next Generation, so I'm really excited about that.
Got 1 volume of Trigun Maximum.
And then we got 2 volumes of King Hell, which Stefan's excited about.
Yeah, I do like that one. We got a couple words like just like single volume ones here. We found like one of these, a couple other single volume ones.
We've got a couple Tsubasas.
Yeah, we found a couple volumes of that.
Which we have a lot of somewhere.
Yeah, we have most of it so far. We found in really good shape Magic Knight Rare Earth. We found 4 of those actually.
And it's a couple different series or.
Yeah, well, Magic Knight
collection.
Rare Earth 1 and then 2. So 2 volumes of each of those.
And then we found some of this, which is called Swan, which looks really pretty. It's a drama of some kind, so we'll have to check that out.
Here's more of the Tsubasa. Found 2 of those here.
And you said this is an old one. It's called
Yeah, it's an older one.
Terra.
Yeah,
So
that's an old one.
that looks kind of interesting.
So we just found a whole bunch of them here. That one, and what is this one called? Oh yeah, Emma. We found 3 of that one. Never heard of this one. Emma. I don't know anything about this one. But we found 3 volumes of that.
And I'm really excited about this. Last year we found 2 volumes, I believe. Yeah, 2 volumes. It's called Bisengast, and it's a German manga, I believe.
Yep.
And it's only, I think, 12 volumes long. It's a fantasy one, so this one looks really cool, and I really want to complete it before I read it.
I found a couple volumes of Kimi ni Todoki, From Me to You. We found a bunch of those, actually. More than I remembered.
Well, we found it over a couple days.
Over a couple days, yeah. But, yeah.
Sorcerer Hunter.
I like that series. It's good. The Gentleman Thief. Found one of those. I found one of Orphan, Volume 2 of that, and Samurai Deeper. Found a couple of those.
And that's
Oh yeah, Chrono Crusade.
one he's excited about.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
Looks like Chrono Cross. Chrono
Yeah.
Trigger.
It actually reminds me a lot more of like a Wild Arms.
And we have another one that we found, I guess, 2 different versions of, or
Yeah, 2
the
different
sequel.
series. 2 different series, yeah.
This is the first one here. And I think these are all the Galaxy Angel
Yeah.
1, and then we have Galaxy Angel 2. So we got a pretty good collection of
Oh, yeah.
those.
And then even more manga. We got a ton of manga.
Just
So yeah, this year was crazy for manga, and
not much else.
not much book wise, which is at the library book sale was kind of a little bit disappointing, but the amount of manga we found really made up for it. It was absolutely fantastic, just stacks of it, and you can't go wrong when they average 50 cents a piece.
Yeah,
for
and
the
you
manga,
have
so.
very little competition. There were a lot of Mennonites, and
Yeah. This is
I
not
saw
an
a
area.
bunch of it when we first got there, and I was looking around trying to figure out how I was going to fit it all in my box to
Yeah.
show to Stefan to
Yeah.
see what we wanted, but
They
all the
just look
Mennonite
at you,
ladies just
yeah.
kind of looked at me weird,
Yeah,
like,
they're
why?
what are these foreign devil
Yeah.
books? Like,
Yeah,
it's kind of
so-
so that if you don't find it very often, but when you do find it, like, we can pretty much grab most of it because no one else around here buys it. But that was it for this year's book sale. We made out really, really good with manga, and like even got a few good books that we don't normally get. But yeah, overall, pretty successful this year, and look forward to next year. The next big thing for us, it's nice in just 1 month's time. We're going to Too Many Games. That's the next big thing. So we'll show you guys 3 days for that. So yeah, thanks for joining us. And did you guys go to any big book sales so far this year? I know there's a lot in spring and summer sometimes.
Or yard sales.
Yard sales, that type of thing. It's starting up. So any big finds so far for you guys? That was it for us so far, and thanks for watching.